Hello and welcome to another episode of Live Feed with your host, Richard Santiago. Live Feed is brought to you by Traveling Tech Teacher. For all your digital resources, check out travelingtechteacher.com. Also brought to you by thebullyexposed.com, a 501c3 nonprofit organization geared at helping survivors of bullying, so let them help you. Hello guys, welcome to the show. Sophia, welcome to the show. Good to see you. Where are you from, Sophia? So we have a question from one of our followers. Very good question. How do you deal with when bullying is in the family? First, I want to start by saying that for me, when bullying is in the family, I don't call it bullying. I call it domestic abuse. Even for bullying, I only call it bullying so people can understand what it's like. But it's really bullying in the workplace is definitely workplace abuse. So when it comes to the family, that's what I call it. I call it abuse, domestic abuse, family abuse. And I think that's just me. I call it that because if you call it bullying, then I think most people are bound to just look the other way about it. So I like to give it the name of abuse. So before I get into this real deep, let me call a few people in who DM'd me and told me to let them know when they start their next show. Okay. All right, so we got them all handled. Thank you for being patient. Wow, I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Wow, did I pronounce that right? Thank you for joining the show. Where are you guys from? So, all right. So, how to deal with bullying when it's in the family? Well, hey Pico, thank you for joining the show. For me, and Tully, thank you for joining the show. For me, I think, in a way, you kind of treat this the same way you would if you were being bullied by someone you don't know. And maybe with just a little grain of salt, you know what I'm saying? They are family members. But what the message that I'm really trying to put out there for you guys is just because someone is a family member doesn't mean that you have to take their abuse. You shouldn't have to take their abuse. For family members, most of the time when people are hurt seriously, the police look at family members, close family members, people that are close to them, right? You have to think of that way, that a family member is most likely to hurt you more than someone that really doesn't know you, okay? So that's why I think that family abuse or domestic violence has to be taken more serious than most of the other ones. Because, like people when they work, they're very careful. When they work on the job, right, on a job site, they're very careful and there's really not a lot of accidents. But when people are at home working, that's when there's a lot of accidents because people don't feel like they're going to get hurt in their own home. And I think it works the same way. I think people that are bullied by family members don't really think that the family member will take it very far, and sometimes they do. So you really gotta put all that into consideration. One of the first steps I would do when it's a family member is I would try to talk to them myself. How are you guys doing today, Telly and Pico and Rico-chan? How are you guys today? Sophia, where are you from? I wanted to know. I know where everybody else is from in the room. I don't know where you are from. Let me know. Slam or smash, I don't know what I'm saying today. Smash that heart for Sophia joining the show. I've seen her name before, but it's been a while since I've seen her. So the way I would handle it is I would talk to the person and let the person understand, completely understand, guys, that their bullying is not in any way acceptable. It's not wanted, and that they should really stop. Let them know. North Ireland, that's right. You're a North Ireland person. Well, thank you. It's been a long time since we've seen you. So I will let them really know. Really, really let them know. If the abuse continues and it's a family member, close family member like your brother or your dad or your mom, probably go and ask if you guys can see a psychiatrist or a counselor together. Someone that will help whoever's abusing you understand, okay, that it's not healthy, and hopefully help them to understand why they are lashing out at you. That's something that I would do. And then, if it becomes physical, if the person's not stopping, then you eventually have to start really considering cutting your ties with that family member. And I know that's tough. I know that's tough to say. But guys, we can't injure ourselves for someone else. We can't. Rose Wilshire Photography, thank you for joining the show. I'm going to write that name down so that I can check out their photography. I love looking at different people's photography. Thank you for joining us. Where are you from, Ross? So that's really what you got to do, guys. You cannot be afraid to cut off ties with someone simply because they're your family member. And I'm going to say it, guys, no matter who they are. No matter who they are. Just because someone is your father doesn't mean that they won't hurt you, unfortunately. And if you saw yesterday, right? You saw yesterday, we interviewed Mrs. Hillsborough County, all right? She's going for Miss Florida. And she told us that she was abused by her stepdad, and I believe an uncle, she said. You got to know when to cut off ties. Kristen, thank you for joining the show. So Tully says, yes, as I was commenting earlier with Richard, we've been having a lot of trouble and big time bullying from my wife's stepmother. See, that's tough, You don't definitely you don't want to hurt your, Tully's wife doesn't want to hurt, or Tully doesn't want to hurt his mother-in-law's feelings or stepmother-in-law's feelings by this, but definitely have to bring it up to this person. You have to let these people know that they're abusing you. Some people really, they have so much pain in their heart. They don't mean to hurt people, but they do. And, sometimes some people, especially older people, they just mean well for you. And they want you to be your best, but it comes out as bullying. But if you don't never address it, you never talk to them about it, then how will you ever know, right? How will you ever know? How would that person know how you feel is what I should say. And it's all too common. All of, I believe, I could be wrong on this, but I believe all of the women that we had in the pageants that we interviewed in the last couple of weeks all said that they kept they never said anything about the bullying. They never told anyone. And hey, welcome back, Pico. They never told anyone. And what happens? You don't tell someone, no one knows how you're treating you. Even Chris, right? Chris, Don, Hartgrave, okay? He was USA medalist winner, right? He won Olympic and he won the silver. He won Excuse me. He won the gold and he won the silver. Okay, even when he was bullied, that he said as a kid, he never said anything to the people bullying him. And when he did, it finally ended. So you have to definitely take that chance and sit down and talk to the person. Take the person one-on-one so they're not embarrassed. That's what I would do. Let's see. Tully says she has made my wife cry several times. That's a shame. My father-in-law does not say anything to his wife about how much she is hurting his daughter. Wow. So let me ask this then. What is domestic abuse? Okay. We have a quick question. I'm going to answer this quick question. Domestic abuse is basically any kind of abuse that's happening within the domestic home. And that doesn't matter who you have. If you have your grandmother living with you, if you have, cousins living with you and they're abusing you and abusing you, that is domestic abuse. So anything within your household. Okay, guys, that's what domestic abuse is. Good question, Pico. Let me see if I have any other questions. Nope, no other questions. Okay, so let me ask you this, Tully. Has your wife or you, or both of you, tried to talk to your father or the stepmom? Anybody try to talk to you guys? I mean, any of you guys try to sit down and talk and let you know? Because I know it's so easy to say, well, she made my daughter cry, or she made my wife cry or whatever. And so she can see how she feels about it. I understand that somebody can see that, but I think when you're angry and you have so much pain in your heart, you don't see that. You don't see that you made that person cry. And I do believe, I do honestly believe that there are people that abuse people, watch them cry, and don't really put two and two together that it was their abuse that made them cry until you finally talk and actually sit down and talk with them. Let's see. Pico says, oh, I don't want to experience that in our apartment. Yes, you don't. He also goes on to say, I'm trying to learn types of abuse so I can avoid abusive action. That's very good. Very good. So Pico's trying to learn about abuse so he can be a better person within. And that's good. That's real good, Pico. Good for you. Because you have a very stressful job. You do have a very stressful job. I know that I was never a police officer, but I know that when I worked for the Postal Service, that people would constantly get on your nerves. People would constantly pick on you and try and agitate you when it came to mail, when it came to delivering the mail. And they weren't mad at me. They were mad at either the mailman before them or they're just mad at the Postal Service because I'm going to be totally honest, the American Postal Service, the branches that I was at, I'm going to say that to be fair, the branches that I worked at, the supervisors did not care and spoke very, very rudely to customers. So a lot of times what would happen with me as a postal worker is that the supervisor will call the station and get attitude or either get hung up. I've seen that myself. I've seen supervisors hang up on customers, and they would get mad. They would either get hung up on, and then the next person that they see is the mailman. So they go out and they harass the mailman, or the mail lady, I should say. Then they go out and harass them. So I know that my point to all that is that I know that even though I'm not a police officer, I'm not carrying a gun or anything, I do have authority, and the one thing that I can't do is abuse it, and so to me it was like working as a police officer, because even though people are being rude to you, you have to remain a certain way because you are, you're held to a higher standard than they are. Some people don't see that. But one thing that I know is that whenever I'm abused and I don't feel safe, and I think this is one good thing that the Postal Service has, is that we can just lock up the mailboxes, get in our vehicles, and drive away. And I did that a lot. I would have customers arguing, trying to argue with me and abusing me, and I would tell them, look, I'm not here for that. Okay, if you have a problem, I'll be more than happy to try and solve your problem. And a lot of them never heard that from postal workers. So they loved that and they appreciated that, and that calmed them down. Some of them didn't care. They probably heard that before from the Postal Service and nothing got done and didn't care. And they would try and actually start fights with me. So I would just lock up the mailboxes, put the mail in the box and leave. And I would tell them first, I feel threatened. I don't want to have to lock up all these boxes and walk away without delivering your mail. And they would say, no, you can't do that. You have to deliver the mail. That's against the law. And no, it's not against the law. If I impede mail, if I decide that I'm not going to deliver any mail for no reason, that's against the law. But if I feel endangered, that's all I have to do. And they didn't believe me, and I would walk away. Close up the mailbox, drive away, and don't come back and deliver the mail the next day. And then tell the supervisor, this is what happened. I was feeling threatened. The person was getting louder and more agitated, so I left. And there, we are allowed to do that, and a lot of people didn't know that. So let's see here. So Tully, Pico says, I'm sorry to hear that, Tully. Pico also says, we hope everything becomes better for you and your family, Tully. So that's good thing. And Pico says, let's see, how do we prevent domestic abuse from the girlfriend? Great job. Well, one way is when you get into an argument with your loved one, don't put your hands on them. Don't push them. When it comes to me and my wife, we have arguments. I tell her, I'm going to I'll go to the room, or I'll go into a separate room. I'll go into my office maybe and work, and I say, that's it. I'm going here. I'm separating myself from you. And we do that a lot. Sometimes we do get into arguments where if I go into my office, she comes in and she still wants to argue. And I've done that too, where she's gone into another room and I still want to go into that room and I still want to have this discussion. Then we separate ourselves. One of us will take the car and we'll go somewhere. Bye. We'll go somewhere. But the best thing to do is separate yourselves. If you're arguing to the point where you both can't lower your voices and can't relax, it's best for one of you to separate yourself either by going to another room or by physically getting in your car or on your bicycle or take a walk and walk out of the room. Very good question. Another way to prevent domestic abuse, because sometimes you have a partner that doesn't want to hear it. I have had girlfriends that when we get into discussions, they want to hit you. And this is the catch. Let me tell you what I don't like, the catch-22 when it comes to men and women. Okay, sometimes you do have a girlfriend or a boyfriend or a wife. A girlfriend. This is only female. A girlfriend who feels that they have to put their hand on you, that they get so upset that they have to put their hands on you and try to hit you. I had a girlfriend once. We lasted. I wouldn't even call her a girlfriend. We went out on a few dates and that was it. We went out on a few dates and I think like on the second date or third date, we got into an argument and she tried to slap me. And then I turned to her and I said, whoa. I don't think we should try to put any hands on each other. And she said, oh, did I hurt you? You're a guy. I'm a girl. If I slapped you, it's not going to hurt you. That's not necessarily true. A girl can't hurt a guy. And I don't think that any woman should try and use that as an excuse, that I can't hurt you. So because I can't hurt you because I'm a woman, you should be able to take all my physical abuse that I can give you. And no, that's wrong. And then I told her, you do that again, and whether you hurt me or not, you do that again, and we're no longer talking. And it happened again, and I never talked to her again. And she called me, and she said, I'm sorry, it won't happen again, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, no, I'm not giving you a third chance. And so to answer Rico Chan's question, how do you prevent domestic violence? That's one way. Don't give people a second, a third chance. Do it, one time that they are abusive to you should be enough. And if you really like the person and, so on and so forth, maybe give them a second chance, but never a third chance. Never a third chance to do that to you, ever. That should never be. So that is one of the biggest ways you can prevent domestic abuse, is by not allowing them to do it again. And sometimes, and I know sometimes moving out and leaving is hard, but that's the thing you have to do. Let's see. Pico says, we got into an argument, but not often. Yeah, everyone argues. Pico continues to say, but I never raise my voice because I know it will make it more bad, right? I'll be honest with you. My voice goes up. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. Okay, I never lied to you about anything. I'm not gonna start now. When I get into an argument with people, my voice goes up. Not in a professional setting. Okay, I'm not talking in a professional setting. If I ever got into an argument with people at work, my voice was always at a calm manner. Never abusive at work. Home, I'm at home, I'm comfortable, like I said, somebody starts up, I'm quick to yell. I will admit that. And so the lucky thing is that my wife is the same way, because we're both from New York. And so it's not an offensive thing, And not to make it that right, okay, I'm not saying that's right. I'm not saying that now I'm exempt because I'm from New York. Not saying that, guys. I'm just saying because we both are from around the same neighborhood. When our voices go up, that's not considered an offensive thing. I know for some people, the minute you raise your voice, that's very offensive, and the people just don't want to talk with you anymore. And that's okay. And that's the way it should be. I've had friends like that. And that's cool. That's the way it should be. But for me and my wife, because we're both from families that raise their voice, and it's really not an offensive thing to us. Both our voices go up, and then one of us will realize our voice is too loud and we'll bring it down, or if it's too heated, that's when we separate in some way. Any other questions, Rico-chan? Ask Rico if she has any more questions. That's a very good one. But, I'm going to say it again because I know some people need to hear things 100 times. The best way to prevent abuse is when it first happens, get out. That's what I can tell. That's the best advice I can give anyone. Thank you for smashing that heart. That's the best advice I can give anyone. So, did some of you guys see this? Our reel today? If you've seen that reel, please share it. Let me tell you guys about reels real quick before we go back onto domestic abuse or domestic bullying. Instagram has rolled out this new thing called Reel. And there's this thing in the past called Explore. I believe it's called Explore. When people in your circle, your followers, like and share a video enough times, it goes into the Explore section. Okay? And that means that people see it who are not in your circle or not following you. and they in hopes that they become followers of yours. Okay, so a lot of you have asked me how can we help you more. Some of you have said, I'm young, I don't have a lot of money, I can't donate. How can I help you? This is how you can help us. Share our reel. Watch our reel. I'm going to try my best to put a reel up, one new reel every day. That's what they call reels. I'm going to try to put one up every day. And when you see them, like them, comment on them, and then share them. Those 3 things. So you got 3 things to do. Like them, comment on it, and share it so that it can get more exposure. So reels are going to be the new things that help people like me get more exposure. So if you can, the more of my followers that like and share and comment on them, the more higher they'll go up in the exposure section of Instagram. Okay, so thank you for that. Let's see here. Tully says, Tully says, today my wife spoke up to her dad today. Okay, good, because his wife got upset because she wished him for his birthday on Facebook, and my wife told him about how much his wife hurts her with what she says at his birthday party Saturday afternoon. Okay, so Saturday was his birthday. Okay. Okay. So what was the outcome of that, Tully? What ended up coming out of that? Let me see if I have any more questions. Rico Chan, do you have a question for me? So let's see. So I'm going to wait for that before I talk any more about that. Find out more about the party. What was the outcome of that? I just know that it's really something fascinating to me. How some people, and I know it's tough, pick their children over their stepwives. I know that I would never do it. I would never pick my own wife, the mother of my children, over my kids. If the mom is doing bad, the mom is doing bad. That's for sure. If the mom is abusing, I definitely would not pick. She can be the mom. She could be the actual mom. Nope. I'm gonna pick the kids first. I'm gonna pick kids first. But you got some of these parents that just pick people over and over and over and over them. Right is right. Right is right. And even if it was the other way around, even if if I was to ever remarry and my kids didn't like my new wife, just because you don't like her, that's not a reason for you to abuse her. And I would bring that up. No matter wherever, I always want to be on the side of good all the time. So, even though that's my kid, and I would tell the kid, I'm not gonna pick between you. But I can remember, I do have 2 kids, okay, guys, and my daughter is from one mom, and my son is from another mom. And I can remember when I started dating again, one of the first things that I would tell the new girl that I was dating is that I'm never going to pick you over my kid. Just want you to know that. In fact, I've had a girlfriend one time who it was her birthday, and she was like, "It's my birthday. I want us to be alone. Can you take your child to a sitter that day so we can," because she was a twin, and her twin sisters, if they're dating someone, they go on double dates for their birthday, and they don't want any kids, around. They just want the four of them, you know. And so one day she called me, and she was expecting me to take my daughter to the sitter at a certain time. The sitter wasn't ready, and so she called me and she heard my daughter in the background, and she got upset because my daughter was still around, and I was like, sorry, you know, here's what's happening. Don't get upset, you know. And I really didn't like that, and that I would say that was probably a good one of the reasons why I walked away from the situation, because I really didn't like that she got upset. It's okay to say, what is your daughter still doing there, blah, 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 and be concerned, but not to get upset at me. So let's see what we have here. Sally says, apparently she doesn't like the photos my wife posted because it was when she got married to my wife's mother, okay, who passed away of cancer 20 years ago. Okay, I can understand now why she got upset. I'm not saying that it's right, Tully. I'm saying now I could understand why she got upset at this situation. Yeah, you know, that's one thing. You know, that's one thing. If you ever date someone, marry someone, whatever it is, someone with a, you know, who has kids from a previous relationship, you cannot get upset when things like this happen. Pictures, you know, whatever, the ex-boyfriend or the ex-girlfriend comes over to the house. You know, you got to understand that that person, as a child with that person, they're always going to communicate. And it looks like to me here, like your wife's stepmother, Enzi, thank you for joining the show. Where are you from? Like, she has to understand that your mother, that your wife is going to put up pictures of her mother and her father together. Okay? I would definitely go, if I was the mom, your wife, excuse me, and tell the mom that I meant no disrespect from that, you know, and that once in a while I am going to post things like that on my feed, and you know, please understand that the stepmom always can block those certain pictures or just unfriend her. You know, it's not cool. You know, I think that if I was the stepmom, I would have definitely talked with your wife and not got upset. I would have just talked to her and said, you know, that hurts my feelings. But I wouldn't feel like that if I was a stepmom, because I understand that the person had a life before me, you know. Don't marry a man with kids. That's the way I look at it. And I realize probably if you're 60 years old, it's hard to find a person that doesn't have any kids. That is true. But don't marry someone that has kids if you're going to get upset at seeing pictures of them together. Oh, it's my good friend Jordan. Jordan, how you doing? What's up, bud? She's such a horrible woman, but I can't say what I think I want to call her. Yeah, don't say it, Telly. Don't say it. Might put you in bad situations with your stepfather, and you don't want that. Did Jordan stick around? No, I guess Jordan bounced. Okay. Well, thank you for stopping by, at least, Jordan. I want to try and get Jordan on the show. Some of you might know I created a film a while back. Wayne Shipperbottom, thank you for joining the show. So I created a film about these 3 people with disabilities who use comedy as a way to deal with their bullying. And he's one of the 3 kids. He's grown up now. He's a man now. But and I definitely want to get him on the show so you can talk about his experiences with bullying. He has cerebral palsy, I think. So yeah, I think it's cerebral palsy that he has, and he was bullied. And let's face it, the bully bullied him because they knew that with Jordan's physical ability that he wasn't going to hurt them. Well, but he's taking karate, Jordan. I believe it's karate that he's taking. So I think things are a lot different now. But yeah, that's Jordan, and I hope Jordan can come back and talk with us. Give me a second. Let me see if I could reach out to him, see if he can come back on. Does Rico Chan have any questions? I definitely would like to know more from her. And I'm really sad to say that, who was it? Princess didn't come on. I sent her an invitation, but she did not come on. Here he is. All right, let me see if we can get him to come back. Hey, Jordan, come on back. All right, see if he comes back. Let's see. Tully says Pico has argued with his girlfriend. Yes, Pico has said he has who doesn't have arguments with their loved one, right? Who hasn't? Everyone argues. Everyone argues. Just never put your hand on your spouse or your boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever. Just never put your hands on anyone. Anyone. Get used to that. Even if you're being abused at work, you can't put your hands on someone just because they say you're ugly or whatever it is that they're doing. Even if they're sabotaging your work, you can't put your hands on them. And in the workplace, some workplaces look at, like if one person puts their hand on a person and then a person defends himself, they'll fire the person that put their hands, that did the hitting first. But most of your employees just fire both people. So you got to remember that too. So it's best not to put your hand on anyone. And that's why it's very important from our video that we have, the bob and weave video, to know how to bob and weave and get out of situations so you don't get hurt, but you didn't lay your hand on anybody. So no one can say that you hit first or you struck first and so on and so forth. Pico says, we were scared that our argument can cause separation. Oh, they're concerned with each other. That's beautiful. That is very beautiful. That is nice. Yeah. And now that you have a kid coming, Pico, you definitely don't want to be separated from your girlfriend. That's for sure. How often are your arguments? Yes, my wife and I had many, but hasn't ended up with violence or anything like that. Now that's good. Glad to hear that. Me and my wife, it's not a day goes by that we don't argue. And like I said, for New Yorkers, it's really not an argument, right? Not making that as an excuse. But Pico says, I can say it's many. Oh, okay. But I didn't count how many arguments we got into, says Pico. Or try to be understanding, Pico, because your girlfriend's going to be going through a lot of changes with the child, and I know that those changes bring up a time when men have to be a little more understanding, I think. I know it was for me, especially my wife had a very difficult time with the birth of my son. My wife had to be on IVs. She didn't work a lot during it. So it was very difficult birth for her. Not the birth part, the part before the birth. So I had to be very understanding for her because she couldn't do a lot of things. And she always had to have like needles put in her and stuff like that. So you have to learn to be understanding, guys, when the woman has to go through that. Let's see. Tully says arguments also bring you both closer together, or so I believe. If we got separated, I believe a degenerate. You would be considered a degenerate. Yeah, a lot of Catholic families are like that as well. That if you break up with your husband then or get divorced, that it's a bad thing. But sometimes two people can't live together, guys. I hope Mr. Tully, I hope we got more closer in understanding than before. Well, that's what an argument should do, and you hope that's what an argument does. That's for sure. Is brings you to understand each other a little more. You know, especially when you. I've had girlfriends that don't like cursing, and not on this show, but normally I do tend to curse now and then. And she didn't like that, and she told me, and I don't think we had an argument about it. I think we more had a discussion about it. But if it would have came to an argument, that's definitely one of the arguments that I would have come out of that with a more understanding of what she wanted in the relationship. So what else? What else do we want to talk about? Radin, thank you for joining the show. Kelly says, okay, Rich, I gotta go continue some housework. Okay, all right, Kelly, don't forget to smash that heart before you go. Thank you for stopping by. Thank you for the topic of today and sharing your family concerns with us. That's very important. So Rico-chan, Pico, what's going on? What other questions do you have? Did I answer your question from last time about the differences between Japan and America? Did I answer those right? Thank you for smashing that heart. Let me see something here. Yeah, so here's one of the things we made for the reel. That's the icon right there that Instagram uses for reel. REEL. And so that's what they call the reel. So just wanted to share that. And follow, you know what? Follow our good friend.
I'm Kelly Morgan, and I want to tell you guys about this great nonprofit organization, The Bully Exposed.
Hi, Kelly Morgan.
They are trying to put an end to bullying. They are also dedicated to helping survivors of bullying.
So yeah, she's out there helping us out. So let's see. So yeah, I hope you guys learned something from today about domestic abuse and everything that goes on with it. I hope I answered everyone's questions, especially you, Rico-chan, especially you. So let's see here. Yeah, and if you guys have any more questions, you can definitely. You got knocked off again. Not much. I did ask. Did I answer your questions from the other day about the differences between America and Japan? Did I answer all her questions? If I did not, please let me Or she has another question about it. You know, I heard my wife was talking to her friend today, and I heard my wife say her friend said to her, "Are we going to stay in Italy for like the rest of our lives?" And my wife said no, that she would like to live in Japan or live in Korea sometime. So that's really good. I'm glad that my wife wants to do that, because I do want to stay in Europe for a while, maybe 5, 7 years. I don't know. Stay in Europe, live in Europe, learn that side of the world. But then I want to come back to this side of the world and maybe live in Japan and or Korea, somewhere we can live in this side of the world. Again, definitely want to do it. So I hope that we get to do that. I really do. So if you guys don't have any questions for me, I'm definitely gonna bring this show to an end. I want to thank all you guys for coming on and giving your opinion about bullying or domestic abuse or bullying when it comes to, in the domestic household. Um, I want to remind you guys that Live Feed is brought to you by Traveling Tech Teacher. For your digital resources, check out travelingtechteacher.com. Also brought to you by thebullyexposed.com. You can get your Be Kind t-shirt at thebullyexposed.com in many different colors. You don't have to only get it in this color. But be kind to one another. Have a great day. Bye now. Bye, guys.